Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the Dojo 21 Questions. I am Sensei Tish. I am the Master Sensei of the VO Dojo, usually in Burbank, California, but today in Chicago, Illinois, Chile, Chicago, Illinois. And super excited to welcome one of our favorite dojo members, Kelly Tager, who is here to answer the 21 questions. So welcome, Kelly.
Thank you.
So shall we jump right in?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, all right. What is your one word check-in for today?
Um, Calm.
Calm. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
And where are you from?
I am from the Bay Area in California. So, tiny
And
little town called Saratoga.
aha. And where do you live now?
I live in the other tiny little town of Los Angeles, California.
And where would we know your voice from?
Stuff. Some dubbing stuff, some commercials, but mainly audiobooks. So, yeah. Yeah.
Any favorite
I
audiobooks?
mean, I'm quite partial to Love You a Lotka.
Mhm.
Just because I love the book, and which is why I had submitted it for awards in the first place, never thinking that it would ever get nominated, and was shocked when it did. So yeah.
Yay. I'm not surprised. How long have you been doing voiceover?
uh, Apparently, I just saw on a timeline, it's been 10 years since I made the decision to start voiceover. So I think it's been 9 years since I started actually doing it.
Wow.
7 years since audiobooks, and I started voiceover itself, I guess, yeah, 9 years ago. Kind of fun.
Excellent. Wow, time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who is your current team? I'll let you define what that means to you.
Um, well, the person who works with me the most in my booth, I call her my emotional support engineer, is is Jennifer Austin. I also call her my directineer because when I'm doing like books that I really need some more support on, that I want to kind of take off my producer hat and my engineering hat, I'll hire her to remotely control my screen, and so she can do the directing and proofing and along with me. So and the engineering, so I don't have to deal with that, and I can just act
Mhm.
and know that she'll check me. So she's definitely a main person on my team, and I would say my other uh, four members of my team are my work wives. I call them. We kind of call each other the coven because we're texting back and forth all day. It's basically the water cooler if we were in an office. So that would be Zura Johnson, Monica Plant, Shakira Suit, and Kim Churchill.
Excellent.
So
Fellow audiobook narrator.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Excellent. Good, good, good. And do you have like representation team that you work with or
Oh yeah, those. Yes, I do. Um, and then my for voiceover, because some people don't know, audiobooks is mainly you independent contract directly with most of the producers and
Mhm.
authors and whatnot. But for voiceover, I'm with DDO LA and DDO New York, as well as Stars in San Francisco and PB Talent in Texas.
Awesome. Good, good, good. Excellent.
Yeah.
And we see your beautiful booth. What is your setup?
So I just got this new fancy Mac that is really it's called a Sphere, I think it is.
Oh.
Jordan Reynolds helped me kind of zhuzh up my booth a couple months ago. And these are sound panels that I covered um, with material from Spoonflower, which is where independent artists can like put their designs, and you can order them in fabric or wallpaper or whatever. So I found these really cool renderings of different books, so I can geek out. And one of them's Blue Castle, which I produced and narrated. So I was like,
Oh,
"That's my book."
shake it
So
up,
put it
girl.
on there, yeah. And then I have lots of toys, many in front of me that you cannot see. But I also have my Madam Mim Funko Pop. I have my Little Beast Funko Pop and my Belle Funko Pop. And I have many other toys in front of me that I talk to when I'm doing
Mhm.
various video game and animation auditions. So,
Cool, cool, cool. So this cool mic is the sphere, is that
The
right?
sphere,
The
yes.
sphere. And
Sphere.
then
My sphere. The
what
interface is Apollo
interface
twin.
and yeah.
Interface is Apollo twin. And my DAW that I usually use is Twisted Wave. So,
Okay. Cool, cool, cool.
yeah.
For audiobooks as well.
Yes. Yeah. I actually
Fantastic.
have two settings on my sphere, one for audiobooks, I have three settings, one for animation and video games, one for commercial, and one for audiobooks.
Fantastic.
And I have to double check 3 times or triple check to make sure I'm on the right setting before I start anything. So
Well, I'm kind of excited to ask this question because I sort of know a little bit. But let's talk about your VO origin story. How did you get started? It's always so cool to see everything you post of like, damn, she's doing it. So
Yeah.
not again not surprised, but yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, initially, I acted in film and TV and theater and stuff for a long time in LA after graduating, and I didn't really feel like I fit in a lot of places in film and theater. I was just having some bad experiences with my theater company. I was getting burnt out. So I took a break and worked on myself more. And then I kind of realized I didn't love acting, doing that kind of acting. And I stopped for a while. I got married. I procreated. And then I realized that weirdly being a housewife wasn't going to do it for me. And I really wanted to go back to work and I needed to go back to work. But I wanted something that I felt that I could be proud of creatively, but also that my kids could be proud of me for. Like I wanted to set a good example. And then my husband and I were on years ago, well before all this, a friend of mine who I had been in a Shakespeare group at UCLA. And one of the people in the Shakespeare group, her name is Stephanie Sheh, who a lot of people know. And she's probably sick of me telling the story by this point. But she was producing, I think it was, or casting her first ever anime project and brought in a bunch of actors that she knew that was all from our group, essentially. And she asked, and I auditioned and I got a role in this recurring role in an anime series called I'm Going to Be an Angel. And I walked out of that my first session going, people get paid for this? This is amazing. I love this. But it never occurred to me to do it full time. So meanwhile, I go through my whole I can't do acting anymore, et cetera, et cetera. And I come back and I'm on this holiday with my husband trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And he mentions to me, he goes, the only thing that you still talk about from acting with joy is that anime series you did. Why don't you just do voiceover? And I went, oh my God, why don't I just do voiceover? I'm a dumbass. So can I swear on this thing? I don't know if I can swear.
Of course,
anyway,
yes.
Fuck yeah. Okay, great. So, and luckily, my sister is actually a voiceover agent. It still didn't occur to me, mind you, to do voiceover with her being an agent. Never. I was just like, good for you. But she pointed me to people that I could start training with, to get started with. And things weren't picking up initially. So I went to this place called the VO Dojo.
A little place.
After a year and started training there with you and with lots and still people that I adore from over there. And started picking up some steam. And then I did that You Should Do voiceover class that one weekend. And that actually indirectly got my audiobook career started.
You should do audiobooks with Ronnie, right?
Oh, well, I did that after. But it was You Should Do voiceover weekend with you because you had Catherine on there talking about audiobooks. And I was like, I'm kind of interested in that.
Oh, yeah.
And Nicole was sitting next to me going, I'll teach you how to get on ACX. I was like, okie dokie. So Monday I was just like, okay, I'll put my commercial demo up there. I had no training whatsoever. I was just like, all right, I'm on ACX. I'll deal with that later. Next thing I know, I had an email from an author asking me to audition for her book. It took me 6 hours to do that audition because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And that got me off and running. And then Ronnie's class came up. And so whilst I was in the middle of that just starting off, I was able to do Ronnie's class to kind of keep it going in a good direction as opposed to just getting into the swampland of ACX for the rest of my life. So, and get some real training. And then I also met a wonderful friend of mine. Her name's Heather Kafer now, who also does VO. She was doing VO at the time, but also was very much into audiobooks and basically I took her to lunch one day and I was like, I want to be your friend because you have children and I have children. I don't know anyone else who has children who is doing this as like I am doing this right now. And she basically laid down the foundation for all the coaches from then on out that I was going to be working with. So I very much started off in this business learning to pay it forward. And I have tried my best to continue to do that. And because those guys, especially, I was just telling Heather this last week when I saw her somewhere. And I said, you started my foundation of giving back to people. And instead of because film and even theater sometimes can be a little like and cutthroat and competitive. And I feel for the most part in audiobooks, it's very much lifting each other up as opposed to trying to cut each other and push everyone out of the way. And that's one of the things in voiceover too. I feel like it's a much more supportive artistic community because we're not on camera. I've got Funko Pops around me and I'm narrating in my jammies and recording, like it's a much more kind of grounded, we're not in it for the fame and the glory. If you are, you're in the wrong profession. So I've just found the community to be much more, yes, this is where I fit in. And I really did enjoy being on film sets and I love doing theater and someday I'll do theater again. But this has been a much more inspiring community. And so whenever I do meet someone now who doesn't pay it forward in it's like a handful of people and I can just avoid them and be like, okay, so you're not, that's cool.
Yeah.
You do you, and the rest of us will be over here. So
This is fantastic. What would you say are the 3 top ingredients in your success? Because a lot of people start audiobooks, but they don't necessarily go on to make it the way they make their living. They don't necessarily go on to winning awards. They don't necessarily go on to be, so what do you think?
I'm a training slut. That's one ingredient. I think training is still haven't gotten to the point of like, oh, well, I'm good enough now. I think training is very important on the artistic side. Like I still am working to get more better on certain things. And then also knowing how the admin side, which I think a lot of artists are not so good as. They're like, I don't want to bother producers. I don't want to bug them. So learning how to network, to reach out in a very genuine, authentic way is in knowing, I think that's, and having that work ethic and the consistency of doing that is also very important. So that's definitely 3 ingredients. Okay, 3rd ingredient. Those are definitely the 2 off the top of my head. Not to get discouraged, I would say, when you have, because last summer, I was literally singing, nobody wants me, everybody hates me.
No.
Yes. I recorded, I think, 3 books, not last summer, summer before last. But one of the books I recorded was Love You Alaka, which is, it's like, you're going to, Andy Arndt, who's one of my audiobook narrator coaches and who I really look up to. And she's really wonderful with the business side of things. She kind of talks about planting the seeds and letting them grow, but then there's times when that gets all cut down and then it's going to be barren landscape a while and it's a whole cyclical thing. And I think you have to trust in the process that it's not going to be fame and glory all the time. Like last year, I was nominated for like 3 different awards. This year, I am nominated for fuck all. So, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm like, okay, less pressure for me. And I'm just like, that's fine. I'm going to just chill and I'm going to do the work. And I'm just going to enjoy the fact that my schedule is still booking out. And, nobody's going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to hire you since you were nominated again. So, and so I think if you get a little too fixated on the tangible awards, which are really lovely, but, and it's nice to get a shout out saying, oh, you got pulled out and recognized. You still, it's not a measure of how you're doing necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's a great marketing strategy.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent. If you believe in big breaks, what would you say was your big break? Is there a moment where you go like, oh, and then everything was different?
I mean, for me, it was when I realized I should do voiceover, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did an improv class when I was like milling it around my head with my husband telling me that. And I wouldn't say like, no, there wasn't like some good fairy that came out and was like, here's the ball dress, Cinderella, and now you can go do all the big books. It's definitely like it was a slow climb. And I don't think there was necessarily like a big success break, but for me, realizing that that was what voiceover was what I wanted to do was my big break.
Yeah, that's huge.
Is it came from inside, not outside.
I
Um,
love that. Yeah.
and because I took to see if I wanted to actually go forward with this, I did a voiceover improv class with Nancy Sullivan,
Mm-hmm.
and I did the first class, and I don't remember the last time I've had such a big adrenaline rush in my life before that. And I was coming off, because I'm very open about this, I was coming very off of having two small kids and postpartum and prenatal depression. Like I was in a bad place. So being able to get that creative juice flowing again and do something for me again and reminding me of who I am as an artist and not just changing poopy diapers was like, right, here's who I am. Here's this is what I need to do in order to not to feel this way. And so that I'll never forget that first class and that feeling, the rush I had after that of
Yeah.
like, this is what I want to do.
I
So
totally understand. Yeah. How long from starting VO to making your full living at voiceover?
it's definitely been like progressive. Um, I think I'd say 3 or 4 years.
Hmm.
But I'm like getting my SAG-AFTRA insurance every year now, and
That's
it's
so exciting.
it's cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like a real actor, so it's nice.
Yeah. It's super cool. Like it's
Yeah,
been really cool to just watch it progress, and
yeah.
yeah.
I do quote you sometimes because about the how you're saying like it's the journey up the hill, and some people get the helicopter that flies them up the hill, and the rest of us are like hiking, and some of us get a lift partway up the hill and all that stuff. And it definitely feels like I can see various people that I know, like some of them get the lift from the get-go, and some of us are like, rolling down the hill a little bit, and some of them, like have to take a stop and a break, and like, all right, we're gonna get there. So but
Yeah.
then where is the top really? Who knows?
Exactly. Well, there's always the next mountain range, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Um, so you mentioned being um, a mom and taking care of your kids.
Yeah.
Um, and what else did you do? What else have you done on the way while you were getting to full-time VO?
I mean, that was the main thing. One of the things that I did when I first started out, because I'm so scared of the tech stuff,
Mm,
because it was pre-COVID, I would go in and record my auditions in places where you could record auditions, like Voice
mhm,
Tracks West and the Voice Caster and stuff, where you could like pay them $10 and record
mhm,
and they would make everything pretty for your audition. So I could because I just wanted to focus on the acting at first. And it wasn't
mhm.
until I did audiobooks, until audiobooks started before COVID, that I had to actually figure out my own damn booth and like
Right.
get off, because I had like a trunk in my closet, and I would sit in front of my trunk on the floor for my first book and record, and my back was like, I hate you so much by the time I was done with that book. But you know what? I'm so grateful for that book too, because I'm so lucky in the fact that I'm still friends with that author, and
Mm,
and I love her so much, and I want to narrate more things by her still. Like I've done a couple of her books now, and I and it was a romance book, and I know we're going to talk about this more during the live thingy, but I remember when she gave me that book, I was like, okay, I'll do a romance. Oh, ha, ha. And I read it and I literally was like, and I had goosebumps and tears. I'm like, oh, right. I forgot how powerful this genre is. And I've been sold on her books ever since because she's such a wonderful writer. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Might segue. I know you mentioned one title, but what are you proudest of in your voiceover career?
Um, One of the books I will say that I flipped out on, okay, I've got a couple things. Okay, so far as like voiceover, I did a commercial campaign for Dexcom for their new little diabetic monitor. I did that like a couple years ago, and I love doing that because it was for such a good cause, and I knew people who
Mhm,
used it. So
mhm.
it's so lovely to be able to advertise for products that you really believe in. And I remember like actually picturing the parents of the people I was talking to, like of whose daughter is diabetic, like talking to them in the booth and having that feel. And so I really, really enjoyed those sessions. They were so fun. And the fact that I knew I was going to be helping people save their life was kind of amazing. So it's always nice when you get behind good products. Dubbing wise, I can't talk about the actual projects, obviously, because yeah. But my daughter is doing voiceover now. My 11-year-old daughter
Mhm.
started 2 years ago, and 2 years ago, something I think 1 or 2. Shit, I don't remember. Year, something like that. Anyway, not important. Cut this out. We have actually worked on 2 projects now together, dubbing wise.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
And so it's a lot of, can we schedule these together so I don't have to drive to the valley twice for the same? But and she's a trooper. Unfortunately, I think she might be taking her mother's footsteps to heart. I'm like, crap. But she's been loving it, and dubbing has been really good for her. And she did some commercial stuff as well. So yeah.
Oh,
So and then one of the other books that I was really proud of and like burst into tears after the very first story. It was a collection of short stories by Joyce Carol Oates.
wow, that's very
Yeah,
auspicious.
yeah, and as an English nerd as well as an actor, that's one of the reasons I love doing this is because I love my literature, and I was like, oh my god, I'm doing Joyce Carol Oates. Don't fuck it up, Kelly. Don't fuck it up. And I'm like, and I had to definitely ask some questions with her writing on that one. But I was very proud of that one. But
That's
yeah, the first story was so like just being able to narrate that type of prose, I just lost it after the first story. I'm like, it's so beautiful. So, like,
it's such a responsibility voicing a book. I
uh-huh.
think that you
Oh
have to
yeah.
represent the author, and you have to, this is how someone is going to experience this literature. You are responsible for it.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
100%. I mean, because I'm also a writer. I write as a hobby more, but I have a great respect for the authorial, is that how you say, authorial process? Because I know that's their babies. They're going to spend way more time with those than we ever will. As many hours as we put into them, those are their babies, and we want to. And sometimes we're not going to interpret it the same way, or we're not going to do it the way that like a reader might have it in their head necessarily. So, and that all leaves you vulnerable. And that's one of the things, like reading your Audible reviews can be, you have to be in a very strong mindset if you want to go there. So I'll say that.
Well, that might be a good segue to the next question of what's your biggest fear or challenge in your voiceover career?
Oh, I don't think Audible, you could definitely like, if you hit a thorny review, I usually just tell myself, I'm like, well, you did look, so shush. So, because there might be 6 people who really enjoyed it who didn't leave a review. So, quiet. But you have to be in a very healthy mental state in order to do that. Biggest challenge, honestly, is doing, as you like to call it, the work-life harmony. Um, Most of us call work-life balance, but that because like my kids are getting more active with stuff, so it's balancing home life with work stuff, especially when like my kids are having struggles of some sort. That's always been a giant, my biggest hurdle. And that caused me to like get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do work yesterday, so I could sort out their stuff as well as my stuff. But I've really had to just keep the mentality of family first, unless it is vitally important. So, or unless I'm really on a deadline and their issue is not as big, then I really try to make sure that my kids understand that they are my first priority. And my husband too, but you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's see. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
What's the new fun term? I always call myself a gregarious introvert because
gregarious introvert.
I think omnivore, something like that is the new term. I think is more me, but I've always considered myself, because I get my energy from being by myself. When I need to recharge by being by myself. Being with other people will not give me that energy high. I will start flagging depending on how much I can be myself versus how much I need to. I was strongly reminded today I do not do small talk. I can't talk about the weather, and I can't mask. If someone says, "How are you doing?" I can't go, "Oh, I'm just fine," when everything is horrible. I can't. I feel like I'm lying. So I would say I'm an introvert, but I have to be in a very friendly environment or comfortable environment to really be myself when I'm at a party or something. Luckily, I mainly go to audiobook and voiceover parties, and so I've got at least a couple people there that I'm like, yes, these are my people. So and the longer I've been in this business, the more obviously people I have in those things. So yeah.
Well, I think watching you from the very beginning, I do think that one of your many superpowers is that authenticity, that being able to go deeply in and unabashedly in and always come out. And then also you're really powerful at relationshiping, at just creating connection and keeping connection. That's really, really cool.
I appreciate that. That was something I was not always good with. So I think that's definitely come more with age and being more comfortable in myself. Because I used to be very much at tug of war, and I'm sure no one can relate to this, but I used to be very tug of war with kind of certain aspects of myself that I felt like people more had to deal with as opposed to enjoy. So, therapy, highly recommend. She's part of my team too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could do voiceover from anywhere, where would it be?
You mean like have a booth anywhere?
Yeah, like if you lived anywhere, you could live anywhere in the world and do.
I mean, I studied in the UK. I got my master's over there in Shakespeare. So I always say part of my heart's still over there, definitely. Or if I could just live on Prince Edward Island in Canada, I'd be fine with that. I've never been there, but I'm sure it's gorgeous. It looks really nice. So I'm sure I'd be just fine there too.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. And the beautiful
either that or the Cotswolds, because I want the Cotswolds in England. So. Not London. Everyone always assumes London when England, because it's like saying New York for America.
Right.
I'm a Midlands gal. So.
That's very cool. What would you say your VO motto is?
It's here.
It's here.
It's here. Someone gave this to me, and I love that it's Judy Garland that said it. I keep it in my booth.
Wow. Can we hear that in your voice? I want to hear that in your voice. But you say it.
Always be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else.
Yes. Oh, that's a good motto.
I like that.
Good thing.
And especially as someone who's, I'm going to hang that up later. Because when you've been a quirky human since the get-go, because, you like Judy Garland before anybody cool found her in college. And you were like wearing black in high school when Ginger Rogers died. Like, you know, you did a lot of uncool things, and so I've learned to embrace my quirkiness for a long time, and hence toys and whatnot. And yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned getting up early to allow you to be present for your family in times that are more normal times. But what is a typical VO day for you? How do you manage? I think having, because you have audiobooks and you have auditions and you have family, like how do you put all that together? What is a typical day?
Very carefully. Just very carefully. And I started working out too now, which is like finally carved out time to do that. So I go to the gym at 6:30, get back at 7:30 so I can make the kids lunch. My husband takes them to school. And so if I have some auditions to do for VO before 9 o'clock, I'll do auditions from 8 to 9. And then I'll usually record whatever audiobook I'm on from 9 to school pickup time, take them home. So I'll get like about 4 or 5 hours of audiobook time, take them home. And then as more VO auditions come in and they're sorted out, because they're older now, they're 11 and 13, so they can, but I do need to, especially with the younger one, get her more settled and stuff. And now she's got all these after school activities. I'll try to carve out time after those drop-offs or getting them settled, and I'll do more auditions at night. Or if I'm behind on an audiobook, I hate going in and doing it at night because I'm more of a morning person. But if I'm stuck, I will do some more auditions. I'll do some more recording at night.
So your audiobook day is like 9 to 2.
Yeah. Usually most days. Yeah.
And last question. Knowing what you know now, what would you say to yourself at the beginning of your career, your voiceover career?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would start trying to do audiobooks earlier. I kind of waited a little bit on that. I wish I'd kind of the one like, but how are you to know? I mean, I didn't anticipate a giant pandemic where everyone would start doing audiobooks. Right. You know, that was a little hard to call. So that would be my only thing is like I started a couple like the fall before COVID, and so I was very lucky to get some in-person classes on before everything hit. And yet here I am still on Zoom all day, but what are you going to do? But that would be my only thing. But yes, I would absolutely say go for it.
Yeah, good. Well, we're so excited to have you join us for Ask the Sensei.
I'm excited to be had.
It's a nice full circle to have, and we can talk a little bit more there about. I think one of your specialties is romance novels, and so we can.
I've taught a few classes in romance novels, and I've been coaching some people as well with romance, and it blows my mind the stigma that's still attached to romance.
Well, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, like so you just record smut, right? I'm like, okay, you need to slow the roll right now. What the best quote I ever heard about romance, and because it's the people who dismiss romance who have clearly not read romance in the last couple, 10 years or so, and there's still a lot of people still have the Fabio bodice ripper covers in their head, and there is a place for that, but there are so many other like the feminism that's there now, the acceptance, like, and especially in these times. Having a structure with a happily ever after is so peaceful. It's just so cathartic to have that. And I honestly think it's the same thing as like when the guys who are watching the action movies who are with the exact same structure, except it's a guy blowing up stuff, are the ones dissing our romance books. And I'm like, dude, like you are doing the same thing with yours. Ours is, that's their action porn. This is our are literature porn. So,
Yeah.
um,
Ooh, yeah.
uh, but my favorite quote for romance, and maybe if this gets cut, then we can
No, no, no.
talk about
It's
the thing.
good.
Okay,
It's good. Yeah.
is I heard an author, and I need to remember her name because I've quoted it so many times, saying romance is a safe space for women to unpack their emotional baggage and know it will all be okay.
Wow.
And it gives me the chills every time I say it. So
That's
because
needed.
it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. That's powerful.
And my favorite books that I've done have absolutely are centered around that. I have one coming out actually, like right when we're going to be doing this thing. That's very much about that.
Mhm.
It's a wonderful book that's going to be released at that point. I'll talk about it,
Oh,
I guess,
great.
on the thing. And I'm going to be doing a signing with the author too in
Oh,
San Diego for it.
exciting.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
And I was just like, they're in the hole.
Well, thank you so much for taking this time and
Oh, of course.
letting us ask some questions of you. We're looking forward to having you on Ask the Sensei so we can answer other people's questions. And you bring there's so many layers that you bring that we'll be able to answer questions on lots of different levels. Yes, audiobooks, but also other VO and this work-life harmony.
Yeah.
I think you're a really great person to talk to about it. So, well, thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes. I'm excited to see you twice in a couple weeks. So.